You ever heard of the saying, we can't think our way into right actions, we have to act our way into right thinking?
That's exactly
And this
correct.
is exactly it.
It's exactly
We
it.
have to take the actions in order to have the right thinking. We can never think our way into right action.
Well, if you think about it, we have 3 brain systems in place, and I talk about this in my lectures.
We do. Okay.
3 brains in one.
Okay.
That allow us to go from thinking, which is the neocortex, to doing, which is the limbic brain or the midbrain, to ultimately being, and that is the cerebellum. That's the microprocessor.
Okay, go through that again one more time.
The thinking brain is the neocortex. You learn something new, you learn a piece of information or facts, or you learn a phone number, or you read a book on how to ride a bicycle or how to build a doghouse. That information is stored in the intellectual part of your brain called the neocortex. That's philosophical stuff.
Okay.
But it's only philosophical stuff. It has no application. As a matter of fact, that philosophy is somebody else's experience, and they're telling you how to do it. But you're learning the information. Now, when we apply what we learn, when we personalize it, when we demonstrate it, we have to modify our behavior. And when we do, we set ourselves up for a whole new experience. And that new experience then has a new feeling that goes along with it, because the combination of sensory information from all different sensory pathways in our body, seeing, smelling, tasting, feeling, hearing, all that information in the midst of an experience is rushing back information to our brain, and it's causing neurons to string together and release chemicals. That's a feeling, right? Mm-hmm. So the new experience then produces a new feeling, and now you have 2 brains working together. You have the neocortex and the limbic brain, or the emotional brain, the chemical brain.
And that would be the feeling.
That would be the feeling.
Okay,
that's oh my God, this worked. Mm-hmm. I feel better. I got out of bed, I exercised. Hey, I'm in a long line with my purpose. It feels good.
Right.
My body likes it. I'm so glad I didn't listen to that voice.
Right.
Now, as more we not listen to it, the weaker it gets, because the new feeling is overcoming the old voice, right?
Mm. Now, how long does it take? Now, I've heard it takes 21 days to break a habit and 21 days to form a new habit. Is that because the brain, the neurons are being, neural nets are being rewired? Is that why it takes 21 days to form and break? Do you know?
It doesn't take 21. It could take as much as 4 days if a person has that intensity and that focus.
That's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Because I've heard it always is like this 3-week period. It's like, oh my God,
if
I
you
could just
spend
get there.
half an hour a day and you're going through affirmations and remembering how you're going to rehearse and be during that day, it may take 21 days. Okay, but let's finish the other concept. So we now have the new experience. That's the doing part. The doing is making the choice to modify our behavior. We just moved from the intellectual realm to the initiation, or to the doing realm. Now 2 brains are in place. We feel better. Mm-hmm. We actually are happy that we didn't listen to that old voice. And now we have thinking and doing unified. Now, getting people to go from thinking to doing is like herding cats, because most people want to stay locked up in their philosophical realm, because what if it doesn't work? Then, what am I left with? But it's the people who actually take the chance and say, I don't care about those voices. They're just old emotions and old neural tracks in my brain that I just know isn't true. I mean, one of my greatest moments in life was when I said, just because I have a thought doesn't necessarily mean it's true. The moment I understood that, I was free. Mm-hmm. Now, how do we integrate that 3rd brain? How do we get the 3rd brain working with us? And the key is we got to make it a habit. It's not enough to read a book on forgiveness and then, and compassion that was written about Mother Teresa, and you have the intellectual information, and then you actually apply a little principle there, and you forgive your mother-in-law. You can't say, I'm a saint now.
Right.
Because the act of being saintly
if it were that easy.
Right,
oh
but most
God.
people do that. But
wow.
the act of being a saint is a habit. You have to be a saint, right?
Right.
Which means nothing in your environment is going to distract you from that state of being, right? So
right.
You have to be able to repeat that experience over and over again in any condition in your environment.
Oh,
that's when
key.
we say, if we said, I did this once, I should be able to do it with my husband now. I should be able to do it with my dog. I should be able to do it with my enemy. I should be able to do it with my old boyfriend from 20 years ago. I need to be that clear. And I'm going to keep practicing this until I memorize that new feeling from this new experience. And when I can memorize it, and I can repeat it over and over again, now I have that 3rd brain system in place that allows me to move into that state of being. Now, when I'm in that state of being, it's hardwired. Now I'm in. Now that I am a saint, mm-hmm. I am wealthy, I am free, I am unlimited because I've gone through the necessary steps to get there. That's when the person has made a change and they've learned a new habit. The new habit is now integrated into their nervous system. It's integrated into their emotional chemical self. And now it takes no effort to turn that on because the feeling and the neurology are just as simple as remembering how to brush your teeth.
Right.
And then we say when the mystics talk about being it, they're talking about having all three brains working together. Now, going from that thinking to doing and going from doing to being, we're really working on reproducing the same mind again, over and over again. But there are ways, in fact, to unlearn those unconscious states and relearn new conscious states and relearn those conscious states so much, and we repeat them enough times, that they finally become unconscious. So, is it 21 days? Could be 21 days for certain people, but
Right.
change could happen in a matter of moments. Because if you get clear on what you want, and you say, Monique says, or someone says, today I have had it. No more complaining, no more blaming, no more excuses, no more suffering, no more self-pity. That is it. I'm done being a victim. And you say it with the incentive and the clarity that you say it with such decision that your body starts to feel it.
Right.
That's called a choice. Now, most people think they make choices like, oh yeah, I think I'll start working out tomorrow.
Right.
That's not a choice.
Right.
That's your conscious mind meandering over here and your body's going, oh yeah, like the horse. Yeah, I'm going to stop and graze.
Right.
And it's going to take more will than just doing that. Most people wait for difficult situations in their life.
Right.
They wait for disease to show up, or they wait for obesity to show up, or they wait for a failure or bankruptcy to show up for them to finally say, that is it. Now that's the first time the body gets a clear signal. The body finally goes, wow, she's serious or he's serious. Now you got my attention. Well, when we make that type of declarative decision, where we have intention behind it, where we begin to have a visceral reaction, that's the beginning where we're putting a new mind in a new body. And that body can revolt all at once, but more than likely you're going to say, get up and follow me because I'm going.